Hey and welcome to the Daily Arsenal News Show. Let's begin with our daily news. Paris Saint-Germain now have a concrete interest in signing William Saliba. Arsenal defender William Saliba is yet to sign a new contract and is wanted by French champions PSG. Journalist Benny Jacobs said on YouTube that the Frenchman's contract situation is slightly more complex than Bukayo Saka's and Gabriel Martinelli's. He claims that PSG and Marseille both want Saliba and that many other clubs were keen during this summer before he established himself in the Arsenal first team. But he also points out that Arsenal are still expecting the central defender to sign in new terms at the end of negotiations. Jacobs said, Saliba is the most complicated of the three really, him, Saka and Martinelli contracts. Arsenal sources fully expect all three to be done. With Saliba, it's a little bit different compared to Martinelli and Saka. He's only been back at the club a few months. He's still coming to terms with a lot of voices in his ear. It's not just Marseille, it's PSG saying, if you are that uncertain or unsure about Arsenal, we can potentially bring you in. PSG are definitely still looking for defenders. I see no reason he would want to leave. But the only caveat there is he did love living in France. If PSG did come in, it might give him a decision to make. It's still highly likely Saliba signs. Arsenal have confidence, but there is a lot more concrete interest around Saliba. Before he moved back to Arsenal, there were lots of clubs actively looking. If Saliba leaves, it will be because he has decided his long-term desire is to play in France, and that would lend itself to PSG. Arsenal, if you talk to them, think they are going to get a 3-for-3 here. Saliba has been called perfect by Jamie Carragher, who also said the Frenchman reminds him of Liverpool's Virgil van Dijk. That underlines the impact he has had on this Arsenal defense, as the Gunners have soared to the top of the Premier League. Losing him would be a blow, and it's encouraging that Arsenal expect Saliba to sign. Why would he want to leave when everything is going so well at the Emirates Stadium right now? Journalist claims Chelsea would pay Bukayo Saka more than Arsenal. Journalist Benny Jacobs has been speaking about Bukayo Saka, Arsenal and Chelsea, and believes the Blues are prepared to pay big money for him. Saka is in demand but is expected to sign a new contract with Arsenal anyway. Of course, you never know in football, and Ray Parlour believes big clubs will be sniffing around the young winger. And speaking to the Football Terrace podcast, Benny Jacobs believes while a new contract will happen, Chelsea are lingering in the background with huge money waiting. I don't think Chelsea can stop this. I think, if anything, they are being used as leverage as the final points are ironed out around this deal. Saka is untouchable. Arsenal are not going to sell him in the short term to a Premier League rival, and the player really enjoys working with Arteta, Jacobs said. As importantly, after the penalty miss in Euro 2020, he was really impressed and heartwarmed by how the Arsenal family picked him up. Arsenal went above and beyond, including Mikel Arteta, from what I'm told, to build him back up. That's not to say that Chelsea are not interested, they might try their luck. As things stand, the framework of the contract is there, and it's going to be about 5 years on roughly £200,000 a week, and that's where there is opportunity for Chelsea. They would be prepared to offer more than £200,000 a week, so that's where those stories are coming from. Jacobs hints at it here, but it would take a huge about turn for Saka to not sign a new deal with Arsenal. Now you feel sure Chelsea can offer big money, but if Arsenal are going to pay him £200,000 a week, he is never come across as the sort of character to simply chase the money. Arsenal fans can rest easy when it comes to Saka's contract, but Chelsea will be ready to pounce. Martin Keown says he really likes Arsenal midfielder Fabio Vieira. Arsenal legend Martin Kian claims he really likes Fabio Vieira and has heaped praise on his attitude and quality since joining the Gunners in the summer. Mikel Arteta and Edu surprised everyone by agreeing a deal to sign the 22-year-old midfielder from Porto for £34 million. He came in injured, but since getting himself fit, he has been really impressive. Viera has started 4 games for Arsenal in all competitions so far this season, just one of those came in the Premier League against Brentford in a 3-0 win. He was brilliant in that game and even scored a stunner to open his account. The Portuguese midfielder then scored and picked up an assist against Bodo Glimt in the Europa League at the Emirates last week. He really does look like a fine talent, and Kian is very impressed with him. The Arsenal legend said on BT Sport, "I really like him. He's come in, found himself on the bench, but he is shown a really good attitude. He's got great ability, and I love the way he strikes the ball. He's just going from strength to strength. He loves that little pocket." Viera is an excellent player. He is fantastic on the ball, can score goals, create chances, and is hugely versatile as well. He can play as a number 8, out wide, and even as a centre forward, but his best position is attacking midfield. Sadly for him, club captain Martin Odegaard plays in that role at Arsenal, which has limited him to just substitute appearances in the Premier League over the last few weeks. That, however, is not a bad thing at all. Viera is still young and has a lot to improve, and working alongside someone like Odegaard could help him take his game to the next level. Pundit backs a new deal for Arsenal man Granit Xhaka. Granit Xhaka has turned around his Arsenal career from nearly leaving the club in 2020 to becoming one player they don't want to lose. The Swiss star has been in fine form for the Gunners recently, and he is thriving in a new role on the pitch under Mikel Arteta. The gaffer persuaded him to stay at the club and handed him a new deal last season. As the club continues to make progress and he shows he is one man they must keep, he could be handed a new contract at the end of this year. Former Leeds United man Noel Willen believes he has deserved it, he tells Football Insider. He has shown massive commitment to Arsenal, he's put in work to change his way and win back the fans, and now he is putting in top performances too. He is always honest and shows leadership qualities out on the pitch. I think he is gradually won back the fans at Arsenal, and that's a great testament to him. It would have been very easy for him to throw the towel in. Xhaka has been such a key player for us, and the way he has adapted to his new role shows how important he can be to our transformation. The midfielder does well on and off the pitch, and he shows great leadership skills on it as well. Arsenal makes keeping in form a player a primary goal. Arsenal knows Gabriel Martinelli's form this season will see clubs become interested in the 21-year-old. The striker has become one of the key men at the Emirates in this campaign as Arsenal look to break back inside the top 4. Mikel Arteta's men are flying right now as they sit on the top of the league table, and they must keep their top players happy. They are in talks with Martinelli over a contract extension, but that doesn't mean the Brazilian will not attract other suitors. A report on AS maintains he has many of them at the moment, but Arsenal will not allow him to leave. It reveals the Gunners have made getting him on a new long-term contract a matter of necessity. They believe he is also enjoying his time in London and will agree to a contract extension with them. Martinelli is so crucial for us this season that losing him to injury could derail our season. He has patiently worked his way into the team, and he is now one of the players we must keep to maintain our push for a top 4 finish. It's natural that clubs are circling, but that gives us an opportunity to show we mean business as well. Reiss Nelson has just moved closer to a January exit. Reiss Nelson got his first Arsenal start of the season on Thursday night, but his failure to impress may push him closer to a January exit. This was a stronger than expected Arsenal side, which meant that Nelson got the chance to play alongside many of Mikel Arteta's best talents, but he had just 39 touches of the ball as per who scored before being substituted just before the hour mark. He made no key passes and had no shots on target in that time on the pitch, with only one of his 3 crosses proving accurate. Nelson spent last season out on loan and has had to be patient this season to get his chance to impress in the first team. Arteta did not even start him in the home game against Bodo Glimt, bringing him on for just 8 minutes as a cameo at the end of that one. Marquinhos looks to be ahead of him in the pecking order out wide and has taken his chances more impressively in the Europa League. The Brazilian has a goal and an assist to his name in Europa already and looks a more confident and dangerous option than Nelson right now. Arsenal were already looking for a new winger to replace Nicolas Pepe in the summer, which underlines that Arteta does not think Nelson is ready to do that. Top target Pedro Neto has now had surgery, which may put Arsenal off, but a new wide man and central midfielder have to be the priorities for the Gunners now. That means Nelson could leave to make space in the squad and get his own career going again by playing regular football. Arsenal want Mykhaylo Mudryk in January, but price could now be £14 million more than first quoted. Arsenal are very interested in signing Ukrainian winger Mykhaylo Mudryk, but could see his asking price rocket over the winter months. Modric has emerged as one of the young stars of Europe in recent times, and reports in September suggested the Gunners would make their move for Modric in January, with Newcastle also said to be keen. However, Modric's fine form is helping Shakhtar Donetsk do well in Europe this season, and they are in with a big chance of securing qualification for the Champions League group stages. And according to Football London, that could hinder Arsenal's chances of a deal. It's reported how Modric's asking price could rocket if Shakhtar do indeed progress, with the Ukrainian side set to up things to around the £44 million mark as minimum. That price tag is up from the reported £30 million initially mentioned, and could well make Arsenal question things a tad more. Of course, Modric is one of the top talents in Europe and has been described by his own club as being unstoppable at times. Other interest in Modric is also said to be an issue for Arsenal, with Real Madrid said to be among the big clubs in Europe monitoring the winger. If Arsenal are flying high in the Premier League in January and it comes to adding more quality to the squad to push on for the title, then paying out for Modric will be a no-brainer. The winger has been outstanding at times, and his performances in the Champions League will have only upped his stock among onlooking clubs. Arsenal have recruited brilliantly in recent times, and Modric ticks a lot of boxes that they look for. If the price is £44 million, then it might be a case of just having to stamp it up. Top quality La Liga striker Joao Felix tipped to join Arsenal. Arsenal is now the toast of the Premier League, and that can make it easier for them to sign the best players. For years, they underachieved, and reports did not link top players with a move to the Emirates. However, that could change this season as they become stronger than they were in previous campaigns. Mikel Arteta's men are at the top of the Premier League table after 9 matches, winning 8. They have also won all their games in the Europa League so far to put them in a solid position to compete. They will keep strengthening their team with the best names in Europe, and one man who could join them is Atletico Madrid's Joao Felix. The Portuguese star is struggling to play regularly in Madrid, and he could look to leave. Vigachess.net claims Arsenal is one of the clubs that might be attracted in a move for him. The Gunners will reportedly move to sign him if it becomes clear he is leaving Atletico. Felix has been one of the world's best young players, and he is still just 22. He has been proving his worth since he broke through at Benfica before his big money move to Spain. The attacker is at the perfect age to join our rebuild, so it makes sense to sign him if our interest is real. I will be uploading daily Arsenal news, so keep your eyes on the channel and don't forget to like and subscribe. I appreciate your support. Peace out.